There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the Impact World Champion, the man who is honestly just synonymous with Impact at this point. Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, it is Alex Shelley joining us now. Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you gentlemen doing?
All right, so you were talking about the match with the Rascals, and we heard part of it as far as the Motor City Machine Guns' influence on really tag team wrestling. I know the Young Bucks have very much credited you guys for really starting the innovated offense and the chaining of maneuvers and things like that. And then the following night with Impact 1000, you're defending the title against Trey. So kind of working with him twice. Can you speak to the growth of Trey Miguel in Impact Wrestling?
I think Trey's journey is a pretty profound one. He's somebody who I met when I first came back to Impact during the pandemic about 3 years ago, and right away I gravitated towards him. And from then on, we became friends, but we also became partners, and he credits me with a lot of his, I suppose, university level training, which I think is really cool. And to me, that's an honor to be able to help have fingerprints on the next generation of guys as I have my own. I think he's going to the future of this company, one where the X division, tag division, heavyweight division, well, not heavyweight division, world division. And I'm so proud of him, having persevered in a lot of ways. And granted, he behaves differently now, but at the same time, to just kind of face everything head on and tackle all the odds he has deserves nothing but respect, in my opinion.
This past week on Impact Wrestling, you and Josh Alexander had a moment where I feel like you took a hard left and started talking about people considering you a transitional Impact World Champion. Where does this feeling come from? I am curious to know.
I think because Josh lost the title, right? Like, he never got pinned. He had to give it up because he was working so hard that he suffered an injury. And in wrestling, really, in any sport, it's not a matter of if you're going to get injured, it's a matter of when. And quite frankly, it's his title. It's his company. He's been the backbone of this place longer than I have in the more recent years. And I think that deserves some acknowledgement. At the same time, I don't think the people ever saw me being champion in the first place. And understandably so, because in a lot of ways I'm the Bobby Eaton, the Rick Morton of the generation. But that depends on who you ask, doesn't it? And some people would say that maybe the title was long overdue in my situation. I wouldn't say it was. I don't think I was prepared for it earlier in my career, but I have it now. And I think a lot of people, again, continue to be surprised. And they're just kind of waiting for me to lose. Just waiting. And they sit there almost wringing their hand. Okay, yeah, that's right. Alex Shelley finally lost. Yeah, he should have had it in the first place, maybe. How did he get there? And I mean, I got there because of my own guts, like my own sheer determination, my own hard work. And that's an honor for me to have overcome everything, much like Trey did too, and persevered through all these different obstacles. So now that I have the title, it'd be nice if people were going to give me a chance as champion. I think a lot of people have, to be honest with you, a lot of people have. But maybe it's a naysayers that get into my craw or get in the back of my mind. And it's hard to shake those sometimes. I can admit that.
The growth of Impact as a company, but also as a television show. You were there from the very beginning. I believe you were on, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you were on like a dark match on the second episode, but you were wrestling within the first five or six episodes on Impact. And now to make it to 1,000 episodes, which is not a milestone many television shows hit. What does it say about there's been a lot of ups and downs through it all. But from your perspective, being part of a lot of these episodes, the overall growth of the show Impact?
I think more so it speaks to the durability of the company, or in fact, so many people want Impact to succeed. Because I've been a part of the company at different points in time, and it looks wildly different in every time. So as it transitions over the years, the one thing that seems to be constant is that it just doesn't go away, and that's a good thing, because obviously the more companies there are, in North America that have television deals, the more options fans have, the more options wrestlers have. But it's tough for me to say because I really wasn't around that much. Like, a lot of people associate me with Impact, and that's true. And I'm proud of that. But gosh, I left in 2012 and I came back 8 years later. And there was a lot that happened in those 8 years. And then I took a year off because I was working in the medical field, and we had a global pandemic. And when I came back, it looked different again. So it's something that I think speaks to the spirit of the company rather than any individual performer or particular product. And the identity of it, I think, when you really acknowledge history, is that it's a launching pad for a lot of people. And it's a place that a lot of people grow, and a lot of people can exhibit a side of themselves they weren't necessarily given a chance to do so in other places. And that's pretty special.
This year, Impact 1000, they're going to be bringing back the Feast or Fired match. This is something that you have some experience in, having participated in the match. You didn't walk out with a briefcase, but talk to me about your experience in that match. I mean, it's a multi-person match, but did you have any love or any feelings about that match as it comes back for Impact 1000?
Oh man, I love all the TNA original matches, right? So if that's Feast or Fired, it's a reverse battle royal, the Terror Dome, Ultimate X, obviously. I think all those matches are awesome. They're unorthodox, and they challenges you different ways to wrestle, which is what I enjoy most about it. But in the Feast or Fired match, because of the nature of, I had Saban, and that was massive. And I think typically you saw the tag teams excel a little more in those types of situations. So we had Lethal Consequences and the Rock and Ray Faction and LAX in there with us. And obviously the tag teams can do a bit more when they're working together.
You've spoken about your partnership with Kevin Nash in the past and the things he taught you on screen and off screen. And now you were a veteran in the locker room, and we've interviewed a lot of independent wrestlers, and I know you still do independent dates, and they speak very highly of you. Jordan Oliver is someone who we've talked to a couple times, and he puts you over all the time. But the advice that you give now, the young guys, as you were in that veteran role that basically Kevin Nash was in when he was working with you.
It's case by case. Don't give anybody one size fits all advice, because I don't feel that any wrestler is a one size all product. In Jordo's case, he's somebody that I've been close with for years now. I actually have a text thread with him and Nick Wayne. I don't know. I probably text those kids once a week, maybe more sometimes. And what I think happened was when I was in Ring of Honor and medical school as well, I missed this whole cluster of independent wrestlers that came and just went different places. When I came back, a lot of my peers were gone. They were in bigger companies and not doing independent dates anymore. But I firmly believed in starting from the ground up, especially when you're testing the waters again and you're trying to see if wrestling fits you a certain way. So in doing so, I met all these fantastic different independent wrestlers. I met Jordan, Nick Wayne, and Masha, and Lee Moriarty, and Cole Redrick, and Calvin Tankman, and Top Flight. All these guys, and they were all so good. And they would ask me questions, and I always tell people, I give you advice. I give you perspective. Because ultimately, I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to professionally wrestle. But there are certain things that I've learned from guys that these people aren't going to meet. So they're never going to get to train with Sabu. That's one of my trainers. They're never going to get to wrestle Robbie Brookside in Germany. They're never going to get to pick Kevin Nash's brain or trade barbs on the mic with Mick Foley. These guys don't have that opportunity. Just shut down now. And much like these guys had opportunities that I was never going to get, I think it's important to share whatever you've learned from these situations with people who want to learn it. And I give that information to them alongside other things that I've learned too, which is more physical maintenance or in-ring mechanics. It's up to them how they utilize that. But it seems a lot of them have utilized it to max capacity or figured out a way to format into their own regimen. And to me, that's just so cool. that these guys are optimizing their performance one or the other, and giving me credit for it, because really it's them doing the work. It's just me opening their eyes and saying, well, maybe look at it this way rather than this way.
This one's a bit of a two-parter. So we'll start with question one. Steve Macklin, Josh Alexander, they both have claims to wanting a match for that Impact World Championship as they face off Victory Road. Do you have a preference in either challenger?
No, not really. I think both so good, right? They really are. Personal discrepancies aside, both work so hard, and they're so talented immensely. When I first met Macklin, it was the tag team tournament NXT, and it was Kushida and I against his partner, and I thought he was so awesome right out of the gate. I was like, man, this guy's really, really phenomenal. He reminded me so much of Bobby Roode. I tell him that to this day, but he's a great competitor, and he loves wrestling. I say the same thing about Josh Alexander, and they pursued it in different ways, but both these guys are about the same age, and they're arguably the same size, and they've got a lot of the same attributes, and they're just hard, tough, solid wrestlers. And I've gone toe-to-toe with both. Macklin and I went about 25, and Josh and I went over 30, and they're just so good. Love being tested that way. I really do. So either one of them as challengers, I mean, that's phenomenal to me. And if they can take the belt from me, like, by all means, to do so, because ultimately I view championship reigns as Darwinistic. If I can't maintain it, then it's not my hold anymore. But they're both capable of being champion. Again,
the follow-up question was actually from Steve Macklin, who had an interview with our own Fightful Sean Ross Sapp. And when asked if he would like to ask a question of you, Alex Shelley, he said, when do I get my rematch?
Sure. We don't make the matches in Impact. In Impact, the wrestlers do not have the authority to do so. So that's not my question to answer, is it?
There you go, Macklin.
Don't shoot.
Oh, hands off, man. No way.
Alex, last one, because I have to know about this match that you recently had with Hiroshi Tanahashi. And wrestlers say they never stop learning, even a veteran like yourself. But being in the ring with Hiroshi Tanahashi, what was that experience like?
Oh my God, I don't think I can properly convey the importance of that man within the time we have, but I'll try. I was in TNA when he showed up and he wrestled AJ, and I was in TNA. He came back a little bit later, and he was preparing for the big match at the Tokyo Dome with Muto-san. And I was there at the Dome when he beat Muto. So Muto had that IWGP Heavyweight title for a year, and he beat everybody. He beat absolutely everybody. And then to beat him. And 3 years after that, I ended up leaving TNA and coming to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Very lucky and very grateful to do so. He was a champion, and the company was starting to grow again. Obviously, you had global economic issues in 2008 going forward. And I was able to witness Tana on virtually every level as a champion. So I teamed with him multiple times. I was on the bus with him. We both sat in the back. I went to the gym with him. I was at the dojo when he come and trained. I saw how he prepared for his big matches. I saw how he handled media like this. I saw the appearances he made. I saw how he tried to balance all of it. And I never forgot that, and I never forgot his kindness. I never forgot how he took care of everybody, whether they were native or foreigner. I never forgot him helping the younger wrestlers. Talk about me helping the next generation of guys. He was doing the exact same thing. And that set the example, right? You hear people leading by example. Tana led by example. And I don't think a lot of people would be able to share that experience with you. But I saw him over the years just work his ass off. And he's 46 years old, and he's been going at that rate since he won the title when he was about 30, right? So this is like coming up on about 15 years. And he's a genius. He's a street talent, which was his marker in New Japan at one point, but that's absolutely true. He's so special. So to actually step in the ring with him, that's to be one of these things where years later, stores are going to say, "Oh my gosh, to wrestle Tanahashi." How cool is that? Because it's just something that is going to be spoken lips of wind whispers and the like. It's like a legacy. And I wasn't able to just wrestle the guy. I actually beat him, which is a huge honor in and of itself. But at the same time, to have that comprehensive experience of basically like living on the road with a guy was really truly the special part about it. So I wouldn't be the same person I am in wrestling if I hadn't had him as somebody who, again, led by example.
Alex, we want to thank you so much for your time. You can catch Alex, Shelley, and the rest of the Stars of Impact Wrestling this Friday at Impact Victory Road. This Saturday, they're going to be taping Impact 1000 in White Plains, New York. The Impact World Champion, Alex Shelley. Again, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, guys.
Take care.
Thank you, Alex. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yep. Bye. Oh, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.